Let's take a look at Halo 5's Action Sack. This is probably the coolest playlist right now because all the maps are user-generated using Forge mode. So, without further ado, let's dive in and check out some of these amazing game modes that the community has created. First up is Mantis Breakout. Now, if you've played Breakout before and you're familiar with the rules, it's 4v4, no respawns. The difference with Mantis Breakout is that you get to use a Mantis, which is freaking amazing. Now, keep in mind that if you're like me and you're not familiar with using a Mantis, because you don't like to call them down in Warzone because you're afraid they're going to get destroyed by Spartan lasers or you're going to get it stolen, it has two fire modes. The right trigger is machine gun, the left trigger is your rockets. The rockets do take some time to reload. You'll hear a very audible click when they are ready to use. So keep that in mind. The worst thing you could do is go into combat. Worst case scenario, you could always use melee to stop. Next up, we have Ghost Racing, which is actually a lot of fun. The objective is to win the race. The guys trick this in such a way that every time you go through a waypoint, you get a point. First to 30 points wins, which is 3 complete laps in this race. Now, if you wanted to, you can do what everyone's been doing to me and shoot the crap out of each other. If you die, whether your ghost explodes due to fire damage, or you flip over and fall out, you will respawn right where you left off. I think you'll see that here in a second. Yep, no big deal. You just jump right back into the race and continue. If you want to test your mettle with racing, it is probably imperative that you try to avoid all this nonsense and get a lead early so you can just take your time and race against the course. There are a lot of tricky terrain turns and twists and dives and lava traps and teleportation beams and all of that crazy stuff. There's boulders that spawn and kind of block certain paths throughout the way. A lot of thought has gone into this. So when you're playing through it, like I said, keep in mind it may be to your benefit to, instead of shooting everyone, race. This is actually one of the cooler game modes and one of the 2 races that I'll be showing you as we go through the rest of the Action Sack games. Next on the list is Tank World, 4v4 Scorpion combat, and a pretty wide open area. I think each of these tanks take 3 or 4 hits to destroy. It is best when you hunt in pairs. Make sure that you have the advantage and try to sink that first shot. The worst thing that can happen when you're playing this is your turret will not aim high or low enough, and although you can physically see the enemy, you can't shoot, and that is so frustrating. Keep in mind also with this mode that if you get out of your tank, it is an instant kill. A lot of times you'll find people who don't know what they're doing and they immediately eject from their tank and they die.
Just 30 seconds. Won the round.
Next up is Block Pit, and the reason I decided to show the intro to this match is so you get a really good idea of how detailed the map is. You're basically playing inside a giant Lego simulation. And what I really like about it is there are power weapons galore scattered throughout this map. Whether it be spankers or hydras or mounted machine guns which you can rip off and attack enemies. They are littered across this map. It's really a lot of fun, and it really does give you the feel that you are a Lego character gone wild. Up next is Minotaurs. This map has 2 play modes, the Hunter and the Hunted. As I'm starting off now, I am being hunted. You play as a Spartan who has absolutely no way to defend yourself, and if you'll notice, no active radar. So it's up to you to run around this map and try not to be destroyed by the 3 Minotaurs, aka the Mantises, that are running around this map trying to destroy you. The best thing you could do is crouch and wait. You'll also notice that, akin to the Greek mythology of the whole labyrinth with the Minotaurs, the walls actually shift every few seconds, which is great to give you that opportunity to sneak through right before you're killed. But it also can be a hindrance because you may think you're well protected and that door opens and it turns out you're not. You get points every second for staying alive. The person with the most points wins. Also note that if you die, you become a Minotaur. And if you respawn as a Minotaur, it looks a little like this.
Not looking too hot.
A little glitchy, but that's okay. When you beam down, you are now a Minotaur, and your objective is to go around and hunt enemy Spartans. This, again, will occur whether you are killed as being hunted, or one of 3 rounds you will actually spawn beginning as a Minotaur to go around and kill other Spartans. Note in this mode you do have a map, so if somebody's running around and not paying attention, you may be able to sneak up on them. The other cool thing is there are a lot of false walls that, as you see, you could just plow right through and hopefully find somebody to
3 survivors left
as the next victim. Lots of fun. Up next is Alpine Rally Warthog Racing. This one is really a lot more fun to me than the Ghost Race because there's no way to damage your opponents other than running into them. You will run across a slew of traps, whether they be landmines or flaming trees or bumps like this that just eject you where you really didn't think you would be ejected previously. It is really so much fun to play. I think this is probably my favorite mode right now in Action Sack, even with the boulders falling and all the different terrain. So if you think you've mastered the Warthog, I highly encourage you to check this race mode out and see how well you do for yourself. Husky Raid is a really fun capture the flag variant that offers super fiesta spawning rules. So expect gravity hammers, incineration cannons, and Spartan lasers as you battle your way down a single trench to capture the enemy's flag. If you're really good at sniping, you're going to have a great time, as when you spawn, there's a pretty good chance you're going to be in somebody's crosshairs. And if you're not good at sniping and you just like to do all the grunt work like I do, it's great for that too. The way that the level is designed, where you have to fight up the ramp like this, means that all enemy Spartans you kill, all their grenades and weapons are going to roll down to you to just keep pushing up on the assault. It's a really intelligent and really fun level design. Ground Pound Town is so cool. Giant launch pads hurtle you flying in the air for you to use your Spartan ground pound to come down and smash other Spartans, whether they be on the ground or in the air. Don't stand on the ground too long because you're gonna get got. This is a great mode to play. Last but certainly not least is Snowball Fight, which comes to us as of the January 2017 update. And this is a lot of fun. Go around and collect these snowballs, better known as plasma grenades, which are littered across the map, and throw them at enemy Spartans. It has to be a direct hit in order for it to count as a kill. Melee, Spartan ground pound, Spartan charge, all do no damage, so you have to work on your grenade throwing abilities. Hope you guys enjoyed all these videos. I did not include every single gameplay on Action Sack. They're constantly updating it, but I realized there wasn't a video out there that did a good job of collecting them all, so I did my best to get some of the best ones for you. As always, thanks so much for watching. Get out there, play some Halo, and until next time, I will see you guys on the other side.